Welcome to Promote Profit Publish. I'm your host, Juliet Clark, and today's guest is one of our authors, and I think she's going to tell you some stories that are really just going to blow you away. But before we get started, I want to remind you that we have our event the first Friday of every month. This month, it's Superstar Strategies to Transform Your Influence and Earnings. And we have content creator, brand director, Joey Garrity, who is really going to dive into how you do this. Her programs are amazing, and I'm really looking forward to you guys being able to step up and hear what she has to say. You can register for the event. It's on February 7th. And it's bamagtraining.com, bamagtraining.com. And if you're ever just interested in what's next month, go over to bamagtraining.com and check it out. Not only can you register there, but it'll tell you what the event is, what time, and that's where we put all of our monthly events now. So check out what Joey's got going, bamagtraining.com. Today's guest is Sandy Duarte, and she is a stage 4 cancer survivor who has transformed her journey into a source of inspiration for others. Engaging in both the creative and healing arts, she advocates for wellness and resilience, using her experiences to empower those facing their own challenges. Sandy's story is a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the healing power of creativity. And her new book, Cancer Ramblings, is coming out next Tuesday. And this is really a guide when we talk about the story that happened in the doctor's offices and how she was able to support other patients at the same time when she didn't even know if she was going to live. So stay tuned for Sandy Duarte. Sandy, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Juliet.
Oh, I'm excited. I wish I'd had the recording going a few minutes ago. We had such a great conversation.
We just started going, but it started with your beautiful, amazing life story, and I always love talking to you. It's the highlight of my week when I get to
Oh,
start it with you. Seriously.
oh, really? Oh, gosh. Thank you.
I'm like, thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm excited. So, your book, Cancer Ramblings, was just never on your radar at
No.
all. So tell me what inspired you to write about your cancer experience and how did you have the energy?
Good question. And gosh, like we were saying, off camera, I never intended to write about this. I didn't even care to journal. And there were so many interesting experiences, through the process, it's all crazy and absurd and scary and beautiful. And you meet interesting people along the way. And many times when I'd like talk to my friends or share a little story, oh, this happened, or I met this, they're like, you should be writing this down. Like you should journal, not writing to book, but just put a journal I don't feel like journaling. I never intended on journaling. And also my thought was, who needs another cancer book? Like there's so much, who needs another story? Really. So I never intended to write at all. And then, one day, I think a couple of weeks into my treatment, I'm taking my walks with my chemo friend, my chemo machine. And I always try to get my steps. And I swear to you, it was titles were coming into my head, book titles. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Okay. And then it kind of exciting. And at the same time, like, okay, no, 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 I'm not a writer. What's going on? Finally, the title that I have, Cancer Ramblings, from Why Do I Not, Navigating the Absurdity Through Life and Cancer. But the Cancer Ramblings portion was the permission I needed, where it was like, here, girl, go for it. Cancer Ramblings just dropped in my head. I'm like, there's the title. The title led to literally, I designed the cover first. From there, it was the permission to be like, go ahead, ramble on. The rambling took away the formality of what I think a writer needs to be. Because I mean, there's brilliant writers out there, educated. I'm not educated a writer. I'm just right. And so through that permission, I'm like, let's do it. And then I just started rambling every day. It was like therapy for me. It was what I needed. It got me out of the aloneness and the strangeness of it. It helped me. I have a chapter that's called Right to the Light. It makes me emotional. So, yes. So, you're not writing just for yourself, you're writing for something in the ether. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so as I was writing for myself, I needed this therapy to understand. It gave me a bigger platform in something out there to be like, somebody needs this. Who knows? But I'm just going to keep going. So every ramble is just really of the moment from the beginning of my journey right till the end of when I get the reveal that I'm cancer free. And that's the story in a nutshell. It was not my choice. It happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so wild because I think when other people read it, they're going to see little bits of, fear and hope that you did as part of that as well.
Yeah.
So, talk to me because you had such an incredible story about this, about the concept for moving from why to why not,
Oh my God.
and how it helped you cope. But not only that, like once you get that, like then you started communicating it to the doctors around you and the other people, and they were, you were helping other people with that attitude.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's so simple. As soon as I got the diagnosis, I still to the end thought it was just a cyst or something, right? And then when the doctor came in, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you have cancer," I was the first things I said is, "I swear, what the F?" Like I was just like, it's like what? It takes a moment for you to get those words. It's a bomb. I was like, okay, like you just take it. And then it's like for a moment I'm like, why? Like you start asking why, but nothing makes sense. 1 + 1 = 10 here. You know what I mean? Like I'm healthy, I'm this, and you start, and then you're like, forget, and then people start asking you why. Nurses and friends and my mom and I literally had people that didn't know me, but you work out and you do yoga. Okay, so that means I don't get sick? Like, are you kidding me? And there's so many whys. Even my doctors were like, and they meant well, of course, but like, why? Like, you didn't feel this? How? And there's all these questions. Screw the questions. I got to a point where I was just like, forget the why. Why not? Why shouldn't this happen to me or to anybody? And as soon as the why not is acceptance, which leads to transcendence. And as soon as it was like, why not? Who cares? Let's move on now with figuring out what to do next. It's empowering. I no longer was there, oh, why me crying? It was like, let's just do this. Who
Right.
cares?
Yeah.
It's transformative. It's the why not is really another ism, another way, another how into acceptance. Accept it, you look at it, okay, this is the beast. Let's move on. And then cancer became a friend to me. It didn't become an illness. I didn't think of myself. I barely use the word I have cancer unless I need to, to my advantage. But like, just don't define yourself. It's a friend who's visiting you. I say cancer is the new cavity. A lot of people have it and it can come and go. In my case, and I'm not trying to make it light, there's terminal cases of people that I've heard, just there's a lot of death. Cancer is a serious, ugly thing. So I'm not
Mhm.
here to be all positive and, oh, it's all, it's a thing. But at the same time, pending where you are with it in your mind, you can really see it as a teacher, as a strange visitor, and then you just move on. How do we get to the end? So when I got to that, I told my doctors and I said, listen, I don't care about the in-betweens and the details. I really kept myself a little bit ignorantly blissful.
Mhm.
And I said, I just know that I see myself walking out of the hospital. So that was the mindset. Accept. And what do you see at the end? I see myself walking out. I see myself on a beach. The other day I was running on the beach.
Wow.
Where do you go with your mind?
Yes, and I have to believe that mindset was really crucial in your healing.
Yeah,
So, I think you did. I was going to say, my next question was, can you elaborate on the role of acceptance and transcendence in your cancer journey? And
and
that
that, and
sounds
that,
like exactly what you just did.
yeah.
Um, you told me a story that had to do with self-talk and visualization.
Yes.
I would love for you to tell that. I mean, I could synopsis of it, you guys, but when she tells it, it's incredible. Would you mind sharing that?
Yes, and I love it because when we were first chatting, you and I, you were like, you really that story. I love that you understand and it got you. So how I found out about the cancers, I couldn't breathe. I thought I had bronchitis, so I had a cold or something, which I had like a walking pneumonia years ago. Every time I'm on the West Coast, I get something funky with my lungs. It's just a different climate than Toronto, East Coast. So my doctor had given me antibiotics. It kind of helped me, but it didn't. And I was declining to the point I couldn't even like move my car. Coming up my hill, I was just like, what is going on? Finally, I tell my doctor, let's go we need a scan. We go for an MRI. She calls me, and it's that voice on the other line, like in the movies, where you're like, oh yeah, this is not a good call. She's like, forget your lung. There's a huge mass that's on your left side where your lung is. So the lung is pretty much gone, but let's think about the mass. I'm like, huh. Okay, let's do another. They want to see you again. We go, we do it again. Comes back, she's like, you need to go to the hospital. You need to go to this one right now. And one of my dear friends, I called, I'm like, this is happening. Can you meet me? And I still taught my class. I'm like, I'm gonna go teach my 5:30. All verbal, which, I love to flow and do physical stuff with my body. I'm like, oh, well, it's teaching me to use my mouth and my brain and not demonstrate. So fine, I did it. After that, he meets me at the hospital. I thought I'd be in and out. Like, let's go look at this. I never left. It was cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cancer squashed my left lung, and the few doctors were like, it's very normal to live with one lung. I did not accept that. I'm like, I don't want to, I have two lungs for a reason. I was like, no, that's not going to work for me. So, but man, we did so many scans, Juliet. It was the most intense 2 weeks of my life of scans and biopsies, everything eyes open, no anesthesia. Long story short, after the grueling like 2 weeks, I finally get stripped of all my stuff. They move me to a room for one night with a nice shower, and I finally feel like a lady. My body looks weird. My lymph nodes are all over the place, swelling. I finally take the longest shower, over an hour. The steam is permeating. I got beats playing music. Nurses I can hear coming, like, where's Sandy? She's still in the shower. I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, this is, I have to get my body together. So I just, I sat in the shower and I thought I have to do the self-talk. I have to talk to my body. And this is wisdom that I didn't make up. It's the Dr. Dispenza's. It's the everybody out there that knows more than me with the science of self-talk and cells and all this stuff. And I subscribe to that. I believe in that very much. But here it's serious now. Now we got to really make this physical stuff happen. So I'm sitting there showering and I finally I have a talk. And I talk to my right lung. And I tell her, tears on like listen, she's gone, man. I said, your sister's gone. She's gone, man. I'm talking to her like that, like a friend. Like, she is gone. We have to help her. We have to help her. So I just had a really stern talk with my body, with the right lung, to help the sister on the left. It was a good 5 minutes or so of that. I don't remember. And then time passes, I'm still in the shower, and let's say about 15, 20 minutes later, I'm showering. I'm just enjoying feeling like naked, warm water, no nothing in my body, and I feel like a lady. I feel something coming out of my left nostril, which was dry forever. I'm like, what? I'm like, and I'm even blowing my nose, not to be gross, but like, what? There's life. That is the sign of life. I know that my left lung is alive. There's something there.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, I get out, my nurses come to see me. I said, my left lungs, she's good, she's alive. It's gonna be fun to look at me like they're used to me, but they look at me
Denial.
like, what? I'm like, I know there's life in this left lung, even though it was black and on the x-rays, and it's still fast forward into chest tube, fast forward, my have my left lung. She came back. She came out of the black. She somehow came back. And I knew it was that moment, in the shower, that I'll never forget. The self-talk. Get your body together. Be the captain. Will it? Will it happen for everyone? I don't know, but you got to try something when you're in your darkest hour. It's not accepting that, knowing that I can help this. We're not gone yet. So that's the story, I think, in a nutshell, that we were talking about a while ago.
That's just crazy that it
Yeah.
really is. So your book is structured as a series of ramblings. Wh-
Yes.
Why was that helpful for you?
Because it was an informal nature to go through the process without being anything. I don't want to be anything, if that makes sense. I'm not here to be, oh, this is what you need to do, or this is, no, it's through the informal journey of just being human through the experience. Can I find healing, maybe understanding, growing, learning? And I just wanted that to be much more of a relatable place for myself and for people, you know? Yeah, it had to be Juliet because I wasn't writing in a formal structure with an arc. I was just going through this weird thing called life, which doesn't fall under any rhyme or reason, as you know, when we we're talking about your amazing story. You're just going through it. So I just needed to just go through it. And the ramblings are that permission and that informal way of being that I think most of us go through, And I wanted to just be that, be nothing, and then find something, a kernel.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, this is a weird question, but
Hmm.
I think you and I are very much aligned on the Eastern Western medicine. Like I
Yes.
know you're a huge yoga practitioner. One of my children the other day said something so funny to me. I was trying to tell her how to loosen her hips, and she's like, she's resisting. And
Oh.
I'm like, what? Where are you resisting? And she's like, Mom, I swear to God, I could be dying and you'd show me a yoga pose that would bring me back to life. So knowing that and being that involved with that and just holistically Eastern medicine oriented, how did you feel about, I mean, how did you blend your knowledge of Eastern medicine with what you were going through with Western medicine?
That's such a good question. And everybody's cancer journey is different. I mean, there's great people out there. Like for example, Chris Carr. She's a huge cancer advocate and beyond cancer, but she's been living with her cancer, through diet and stuff. Like there's so many choices out there for people that, they don't want to do the chemo or they don't want to
Right.
do whatever it is. It's also personal, but for me, I really believe I had no choice. I'd be dead. I knew this thing was growing very fast.
Uh-huh.
And I don't have an aversion to blending things. I don't think, why do we have to be so black and white? I think that's the danger. Why can't we marry the beauty and brilliance of science with the greatness from the East, ancient holistic wisdom to bring it together? And fortunately, I had a team that was amazing at UCLA, great doctors, great team. Nobody ever looked weird at me or said you shouldn't do something. They'd always be like, let's see when you can do that. When
Mhm.
can you take your supplements? Best after the chemo, in between your rounds, so that it doesn't mess. But go ahead. So it's nice when people have the brain to be like, this is the science, this is this, but we're not afraid of the other side. They
Right.
can work together. Why do they have to be against each other? And because of that, I think it really helped me because I really had very strong chemo. My chemo was really strong, and it was 5 days, 5 nights and they kept increasing it. And then I got to round four, and I'm like, can we just stay here? I'm scared of 5 and 6. And so my doctor said, you have a choice. Sure, we can stay at the medication at 4, which blew me away. Or then we'll see you for the rest of your life. Or we keep going higher and I'll never have to see you again. I chose, obviously, okay, let's go, let's do this.
Right.
Right? But so they were really great. And at the same time, at letting me know that what you're doing in between, keep doing it as well. So there was a
Mhm.
lot of juicing in between. There was a lot of mushroom supplements like turkey tail, which is really known to help your cells find the way to kind of repair and battle through. There was lion's mane.
Oh,
Towards the end, there were crystal bowls because guess what? Crystal bowls, your cells are known to become more receptive to chemo when we have 70 trillion cells in our body, each with a little antenna. And when they respond to whatever is happening with those bowls, you're becoming even more of a peaceful environment to take in the beautiful poison that you need. So
mhm.
you're living and you're dying at the same time. It's the yin and the yang, it's the east and the west. They can come together, and I believe that saved me too. It's what you do in the in-betweens holistically to help the beautiful poisons that help me survive and shrink that crazy friend of mine that was crazy. He was massive. He was 10 by 15 across my chest.
Oh,
So yeah,
gosh.
I really believe that you can use your wisdom. Don't be afraid of science. You can hear so much, oh, don't do this. Use your wisdom, and have conversations with people. And that's what I really believe.
Yes,
Just
and
hearing.
you had, so let's go back to your conversations. You were, and this is the reason many doctors are going to help you and bring you into the hospitals that you're
Mhm.
booking already.
Hmm.
You spoke to another patient about the why not
Yeah,
concept,
you're
and
so
your doctors, she went back and told
good.
them, and they thought, oh my gosh, this is so inspirational that now they're bringing you into the
Yes,
hospital with your book, and we're going
yes.
next steps into, journals and bookstores and
Hmm.
hospitals to help other people. So talk
Yeah,
about that, because that's pretty incredible too, that your doctor would say, that's amazing
yeah.
that you just told her that and it gave her hope.
Yeah, I had and actually it's funny, I'm going to be launching my podcast for the new year called Cancer Ramblings, obviously in line with the book. And
Uh-huh.
this particular friend of who's now a sister friend to me, for life. I mean, we go have dinner, we talk a lot, and oh my gosh, she's going to be one of my guests. But anyway, here comes this girl at midnight. She gets wheeled in. She's, just midnight in terrible pain. I'm just like in the dark in peace, sleeping. I'm getting discharged the next day for my recovery round. And she was so impressive because other people I shared a room with never did this. She's in terrible pain, major surgery, hysterectomy, the ovaries, all that stuff. I'm too stupid to repeat. I mean, she would have to tell you the details of all that surgery. Horrible pain, where you feel it like I needed to go for a walk. I couldn't be in the room too much because it was, you feel how viscerally her pain is.
Mm.
She comes at midnight with my nurse, Nurse Frank, who I just adore, and she goes, can I see who she is? She wanted to see who I am, who's her roomie. And she came and she greeted me. And I thought, who does that in such pain? So classy to just say hi. And I said, hi, and I'm laying there. She'll tell the story another way in the future show. She goes lie down and they let us be. And it's 1 a.m. now, time fast forward after she gets settled. And she has a sweet little accent. And she asks me if I'm okay to talk. Can we talk? I'm tired, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk to this new friend of mine. And she's going on, and it was like a light. It's a light of being like, wow, I feel so much better in my own body, being able to help and be of service to someone in that moment. Isn't that the magic of life?
Yeah.
So she was going on and on about why me, why? And did you want kids? She asked me. I said no. She goes, I wanted kids. She now she can't have kids, and it was a lot of why. And I'm like, holy cow. So I talked to her. I said, listen. You can go on with the whys for the rest of the night if you want. I don't remember the exact words, but basically, you have to now accept it. Accept it. Forget the why. Tomorrow, stop asking why. You're never going to get the answer. I'm never going to get my answer why. Who cares? I said, now you accept it, you fight, and you embrace this next chapter. I don't know. We were rambling till 3 in the morning. Long story short, fast forward, I leave. We stay in touch, and I come back 2 weeks later, and it's a joy when people have something like this to say. And the nurse comes, the same nurse, and he goes, I need to know we're friends now. Me and her stayed in touch, and he goes, Sandy, he goes, I want to ask you a question. I need to have him as a guest too. He's been a nurse in oncology for like 30 years, so the
Ugh,
stories, the crazy things he's seen.
hard
And he
job.
goes, I want to ask you, what did you talk to Sahara about? Like what did you say to her? Like what did you talk about? And I'm like, huh? He's like quizzing me about that. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just telling her she has to accept. I'm like, we talked, and he goes, well, the next morning she was a different person.
Ugh,
She
that's so
changed.
amazing.
She changed. And to me, that melted my heart. And now, I mean, she's amazing. Like we all get our moments where like, oh, it's life is hard, but she's really beyond the why. She's fiercely into the why not. She looks healthy, she's vibrant, and it's a joy to see her evolution. And that's just the conversation. It was a joy to hear that. I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, and it's inspiring. And inspired made me go, there's a reason for this book. There's a reason for this journey to help empower in that moment somebody to be even greater, even bigger, even better than they ever imagined. And
Mhm.
if you can sprinkle a little bit of that magic for their personal greatness, it's so rewarding, Juliet. It was magical in that moment, and it still is.
Oh, that's amazing. So your new book, Cancer Ramblings, we can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You guys, this is a week out. It'll be released next week, and go buy it in pre-sale. We really want to get this up to number one and just help as many people as we can out there. And I even mentioned to you that the gentleman from Full House just got the
Yes.
same diagnosis you did. So hopefully somebody knows him and we can get him a copy as well
Yeah.
to hopefully help on his journey too, because
Yes.
it's a tough
And
journey. So
if anyone wants to learn more or see more, they just go at cancerramblings.com. Super simple, and it's a real joy. It's listen, who knows what anything is in this life, but to share it through the word, through writing, through this, through conversation, it makes the journey of life less absurd because it can be quite nuts to wrap your head around. And I just want people to know out there that you're not alone. You know, the idea of this separation and this aloneness, it's an illusion. We're always connected to love. We're always connected to light and to each other. So that's a big key message for me is just keep leaning on love as much as possible, you know, through the journey. Just love melts everything. There can be no fear when your heart is melted into love. And so just find your love chance, find that repetition. Before I let you go or you let me go, it's simple as just repeating love. Repeat it so deeply in your heart where it becomes first words and then it melts into emotion in your heart space. It can bring you to tears, and then you find yourself free, even for a moment, from all the ugliness that cancer really can be.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you for sharing your journey
Thank
with
you,
us.
Juliet. It's always a joy. You're so amazing, and I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on your show.